Okay, let's look at hooking up the Hegel Rost integrated amplifier to a Control 4 system using the integrated IP two-way driver with SDDP. So the first thing we want to do is look at the wired connections. Two things we want to look for. Look for connection between the Control 4 controller, whether you're using an EA3 or an EA5, going out coax digital to the Rost, using its coax digital input. The second thing we want to do is make sure that the Rost has an IP connection, and to do that you're going to need to plug in a hardwired network cable and look for the check mark in the front display. When the display is on, look in the lower left hand corner, you should see a check mark, and that's your indication that you've got a network connection. What we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go to hegel.com and Products, Integrated Rost. That's the Rost page on the Hegel website. There's two things we want to grab here. We want to grab the Control 4 IP driver. Let's go ahead and download that, and then the next one is the firmware in case you need it. If your unit responded to that echo command and it went into standby, you don't need that firmware update. These are both zipped files, and remember, we're going to have to unzip these to use them. So go ahead and open that and then extract that file, and then take that and copy it and paste it into your Control 4 drivers file, or drag it if you like to do it that way. Let's go into Control 4 and drivers, and we'll stick it in there. So let's take a look here too as to how we figure out if the Rost is on our system. Open up your network connections, and under media devices you'll see the Rost if it's connected properly. Double click on that and it'll open up the web page for the Rost at its IP address. So it'll show its IP address and its MAC. You can rename it, and this is the name that might show up in AirPlay or in other places that you use the Rost. You can change the IP settings to use static, but since we've got an SDDP driver, I'd recommend you leave it on DHCP. And then here's your firmware version. This is the version that you're going to want to look for, S9692.1.0, and that's the most current version. If you've got a different version, go ahead and hit update and grab that file you downloaded and unzipped and install that. So after you've made sure you've unzipped and copied the Control 4 driver into your Control 4 drivers folder, let's go ahead and open up Composer. This is for versions 2.6 and above. Very important to keep in mind. And here's my EA3. And as soon as you open it, I've got an existing project in here. Make sure under digital media you have it turned up to 192.24. That's the highest quality. We want that for output. And then if you go over here to discovered devices, you're going to see your Rost showing up in your IP table. Just double click on that and it will magically appear in your program. Go ahead and name it whatever you'd like to see on your Control 4 interface and perform your connections. So in this case we use the coax. We're going to connect that to the EA3, and then also make sure your room control is going to your endpoint, and your volume is also going to your audio volume. And I've got my clouds installed already. You go ahead and install the ones you need. I like to use Tidal because it's the highest resolution source we have available. And once you've done that, just go ahead and refresh your navigators and you should be good to go. The last thing I want to show you is if you go to your room, I don't know if you've used this before, but go to your room under miscellaneous and you can set up a startup volume. And this will be the volume that the Rost will start up with every time the client turns it on. So hope you enjoyed that. Everything you need to know is down below in the links, and looking forward to hearing your feedback on the integration, the Control 4 integration with the Hegel Rost. Thank you.